Hello friends, welcome back. So now we are going to proceed a bit further and see what is the meaning of Cartesian product of two sets. So let us take any two sets A and B. Okay. So A and B are two sets and they have a certain number of elements, doesn't matter how many. So let us say that A has A1 to AP, that is P number of elements in total, and similarly B has B1 to BQ. So what do we understand? So now we have established a few facts about A and B. So A has P elements, B has Q elements, so that is the cardinality, and these are two sets. One of them could be empty, non-empty, we don't know anything about it right now. We have just taken two random sets. Now what we are understanding is the Cartesian product. So Cartesian product is an operation that we perform on two sets, any two sets. So let us try to understand what this Cartesian product means. So the hint we get is, we just learned what is the meaning of an ordered pair. So Cartesian product basically gives us an ordered pair, but how it is ordered is what we have to understand now. So the Cartesian product is written as A cross B. So this is not exactly the multiplication that we see with numbers, it's just an operation. We are just representing an operation between these two sets. So what it gives us is a set of ordered pairs, where the first element is an element of the set A and the second element of that ordered pair is the element of the set B. So it gives us elements in this form. So all elements are in this form, A comma B, where A belongs to the set A and B belongs to the set B. So we know how to write a given set in set builder form. That's it. So this is how we get the Cartesian product of two given sets. So how many elements could this given set have? So how many elements do you think the Cartesian product has? So I told you that for every element in A, we are taking an element from B. So for example, if we are taking A1, so one ordered pair could be A1 comma B1. Similarly, another ordered pair could be A1 comma B2. So in this way, A1 is matched with every element from B. So A1 is matched with the last element of the set B also. Similarly, A2, A3, all the elements will be matched with all the elements of B. So finally, we also have, for the last element of the set A, it's matched with B1. So in this way we have all the possible combinations of this particular ordered set. So if the set A has P elements, so we see that this particular grouping, we have 1, 2, we have Q elements here. This has Q elements, and similarly there are P number of such groupings. So here there are totally P rows and then there are Q columns. So the number of elements is basically number of rows into number of columns, that is P into Q. Correct? So the size is P into Q. From this we understand the cardinality is P into Q. But what is P? It's cardinality of the set A, and Q is the cardinality of set B. This is a very important result. So the Cartesian product of two sets has the size as the size of one set multiplied by the size of the other set. So even if we interchange this, even though the elements are different inside because the order matters, we get B comma A as the elements of this particular Cartesian product if it is B cross A. And if it's A cross B, we get A comma B. So that is the Cartesian product, and the size will remain the same. Okay. Now that we have established another fact as the size of the Cartesian product, we can go further and see one very common Cartesian product, that is the Cartesian product of real numbers. So what is the Cartesian product of real numbers? That is the set R cross R, which is all possible points on a plane. So this particular set will have all the ordered pairs x comma y such that x and y are the coordinates on a plane. That is what this particular ordered set, this particular Cartesian product is giving us. And if it is this, then we also have the coordinates in 3-dimensional space. So this is one of the common examples of this operation. Now let us establish a few more facts from this given Cartesian product. So let us play around with the size. Suppose one of these set was empty, say A is empty, then what happens? So if A has no elements, it cannot be taken in, the elements cannot be ordered because there is no element in the one of the sets. So in that case, then what happens? The Cartesian product has 0 elements. That is, the Cartesian product is also a null set. And the same arguments follows if B was empty. That is, okay, so now we understood if one of the set is empty. But what if one of the set had infinite number of elements, like the set of real numbers? Then what is the size of the Cartesian product? In that case, you can easily understand the number of elements in the row or the column, depending on which set has infinite elements. One of them will be infinite. So if you multiply anything with infinity, you end up with infinite number of elements. So you cannot count them. So in that case, the size of the Cartesian product will also be infinite. So let us write it down. So these are some results based on the cardinality of the set. If the set was empty, then what happens? If one of the set is infinite, what happens? Even if both are also true, then also the results are same. That is, if A and B are both empty, then also their cross product would have been empty. And if both of these are also infinite, then their Cartesian product's cardinality is also infinity. So in that way we have understood, based on the size of a set, what happens to their Cartesian product. Thank you.